All right, what's going on? Shalom. How everybody doing? Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for tuning in. What's going on with everybody? I've been kind of running around all day. So definitely want to get into this. I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm able to get it in at a good time. I wanted to come on earlier, but shalom to all the brothers and sisters, all the Morehs tuning in. I want to definitely deal with this and get into the specifics, get into this subject, which I think is a very, very much needed subject. What's going on, Zadok? What's going on, Moreh? How you doing? I pray that the Father is continuing to bless you and bless you, the work that you're doing. Shalom to everybody out there. Thank y'all for tuning in. Let's see here, Brother Robert. What's going on? Sister Bobby Beckford, McNeil, Jonathan. Shalom, James, Arbuckle, Denise Turner, Shalom, Sister Shante, Moreh, Ray, I think it's Yacob, Sister Yara, what's going on? Bobby Beckford, I think I already hollered at you. Sister Yara, Moreh, Carrie Battle, what's going on? Sister Rosemary, Jackson Moore, thank you for tuning in. Everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. Brother Tony Robinson, Brother Jeff Taylor, what's going on, Brother Tim, and whatnot. So I think everybody should be good. I'm just waiting for brothers and sisters to get in here. I know they'll be tuning in. I don't want to hold it. I don't want to hold it or delay it long. I really want to get into this subject, and I want to look at some things that I think is very, very important that we talk about a specific area. I already dealt with one of the specific subjects of dealing with the brother Paul in the understanding of I suffer not a woman to teach. But I know that there was also brothers who came back around and was saying that, well, you need to deal with 1 Corinthians 14 as the law says, that a woman she need to be quiet and sit her behind down somewhere. She don't need to be teaching nothing. So you already know I'm going to deal with that. Ben was going to deal with that, but just been kind of waiting to really deal with it, how I'm going to deal with it. So now I'm going to deal with it. I also want to deal with another specific subject of dealing with unqualified voices, because we got a lot of people out here that are trying to make other people voices, and many of these folks not even Morehs, many of them not even called to even really. We talking about sisters don't need to be teaching. We got a lot of brothers out here who trying to teach. They aren't even called to be teachers or Morehs or be responsible for someone. It's bigger than just getting on live and just doing the teaching. And whatnot. I mean, come on, it's more than that. And I think it needs to be addressed head on. It needs to be addressed head on. Shalom to my brother D. Brew, Brother Damon Smith, shalom to you, Brother Greg White, shalom. Chris Terry, shalom. My sister Kendra Cooper, shalom. Sister Tiana, shalom to you as well. Hope to see you at one of the Boom congregations soon. Moreh, Jonathan Lutcher, what's going on? Shalom. Dwayne Bonton, shalom, what's going on? Brother Red Letters, Brother Tim, Brother Hear Me Payne, shalom, Brother Bob Parks. So I want to get into this because we talk about brothers shouldn't be out here, sisters shouldn't be out here teaching. There's a whole lot of brothers out here that need to sit down somewhere, for real. And I just got to be as upfront as possible. And be as real as possible. I mean, Facebook has created an atmosphere, you know what I'm saying? Right, I know, right? I hear you, Moreh, Zadok. Sister Kaya, what's going on? But there's definitely something that is an issue that we need to deal with. Also, I don't know how long Zadok gonna be on. I don't know if he's available, but after I dig into this, if we can get Ak on to kind of see his perspective, I respect a lot of his perspective, as well as on my brother Ozza Fingers. I respect a lot of his perspective as well. And so we're gonna deal with this. Sister Barbara Blackwell, what's going on? So now let's deal with this unqualified voices. This is the first thing I want to deal with. It's a lot of people out here, man, that's not qualified. Okay. And we are allowing people who are reckless, people who are unqualified, people who don't have no credibility. And when I'm talking about credibility, I'm not saying that they have done something in the community that has given them a bad name. I'm just saying they don't have no track record of anything. And we have people who are appointing other people or trying to appoint other people or ordain or anointing or ordaining them as though that they are teachers. And this is the thing that we need to be dealing with heads on. Now, when it comes down to dealing with Facebook, it's a platform for anybody and everybody. Anybody and everybody, Facebook, they can do whatever video they want. But when it come down to doctrine, when it come down to teaching, man, we need to have some form of elders in the community that really say, yo, man, we can't be allowing other folks to push other folks that's not even, they haven't done anything. We talk about people who are pushing and appointing other people that haven't done nothing. Like we got brothers out here who done put in work for the kingdom, put in time for the kingdom. Okay, putting in time and work. We act as though credibility is something that man don't play a role in. We know that even when it came down, we talking about Christ grew in favor with Yah and man. We talking about all throughout the book. Apostle Paul, yeah, he was called by Christ, but guess what? You had Barnabas, you had Ananias, all them brothers had to vouch for him. But now we're creating an atmosphere to where it's like, yo, those who have no credibility, no file, who have no type of track record or have proven anything, are literally trying to appoint themselves, not only appoint themselves, but they are also trying to appoint other people who is just unqualified as they are. Man, what's up with that? We ain't saying nothing. We sitting around here, man. There needs to be some form of elders community or some form of board or some form of something that see this mess and like, yo, man, nah, he's not a teacher. He's not a teacher. We so quick to run up and want to talk about women need to sit down. Sister need to sit down. She don't need to be. Some of these teachers, some of these sisters y'all talking about need to sit down can out teach some of these brothers y'all trying to push. Let's deal with that for real. Some of these sisters out here can out teach some of these brothers that y'all trying to push, but y'all want them to go sit down and y'all giving platforms to brothers that it can't even teach. Some of these brothers can't even halfway talk. Now that's real. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not trying to sit out here and try to badmouth or degrade them in any type of way. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that some of these brothers can't even hardly articulate themselves. And y'all trying to push these cats? Y'all trying to sit up here and say that these brothers can teach? These brothers ain't qualified. They can't barely. And I'm not saying at the end of the day, we know that Paul talked about, I didn't come to you with excellent speech. We know that Moses had a stutter, but them brothers had an anointing that was qualified. They had a track record. The Father was with them. He showed that he was sitting there. All right. The Most High showed that he showed favor upon Moses. Some of these brothers, we ain't seen them. The Most High ain't showed no favor or showed nothing that he was with them as far as calling them to teach. We need to be able to make sure that brothers out here have favor with not only with God, but have favor with man, which means we need to be able to say, hey, brother, no, you ain't teach. No, you're not a teacher. No, you're not a teacher. Okay, nah, brother, it's cool. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you called to something else in the kingdom, but you're not called to teach. And I'm not sitting up here saying that I'm going to sit here and I'm going to sit here and say that every brother can't. No, it's some brothers that are called. But we need to be able to say, brother, you're not a teacher. Straight up. And we see other cats who not teachers trying to push other brothers who teachers, we need to be like, yo, man, we got to get out of this feeling stuff. All right, get out of this feeling stuff. And like, you want to bang on a Christian, but you don't want to tell your brother he can't teach. It's just like if you got brothers out here who trying to rap. Brother, you can't rap. Period. Sorry. It's just what it is. Brother, you can't rap. Stop trying to rap. You want to bang on all these other folks, but at the end of the day, brothers can't, if you can't rap, brother, sit down. You can't rap. That's not a talent you was given. We need to stop playing and start telling brothers, all right, making sure we put brothers in their right categories and where they're going to help guide these brothers into their right lane. Brother, that's not your calling. That's not your calling. You're not a rapper, okay? Maybe you might want to go try to make some beats or something like that, but you're not a rapper, okay? So let's look at this here, all right? Because I want to deal with this from a scriptural perspective, all right? Let's look at this. Go to the book of Numbers, all right? Go to Numbers chapter number 11. Let's go to Numbers chapter 11 because we got a lot of stuff going on within the community. And it's so to the point to where sisters don't know what to do. Some of the brothers don't even know what to do. Some of the brothers don't even know how to deal with some of these situations. And you going to talk to another brother who don't have who's not proven to deal with your situation. Okay, brothers and sisters are seeking help, and we have nobody in the community qualified to help them. All the people that are unqualified is trying to give advice on all types of things. And we got other brothers and sisters seeking other people, all right, who not qualified. So we need to set up some form of order, okay, some form of community or something, some form of elders, a board or whatever, okay, to make sure that we got a thorough understanding of what's going on when it comes down to who is an elder, who's not, okay? You just don't, in our forefathers in the biblical times, all right, in the ancient times, everybody wasn't no elder, man, okay? Everybody wasn't no teacher. Everybody wasn't no Moreh. Everybody wasn't none of that. But now today, in today's time, everybody, we want to make everybody a teacher. We want to push everybody. Okay, make everybody, these folks ain't even qualified. Like I told you, some of these brothers can't even articulate themselves. Okay, and getting a thorough understanding to be able to tell the people something. They leaving the people confused by some of the stuff that they saying and is not being clear by what they teaching. All right, people are being left confused. Okay, by this stuff. We gotta get it under control, man. And we can't allow unqualified people to qualify other unqualified people. This stuff it gotta stop. It's causing more problems. All right, it's causing more problems. All right, just because you my homeboy, if you ain't a teacher, bro, I'm gonna say, bro, nah, you ain't a teacher, bro. It's just what it is. You're not a Moreh, man. You don't even like people. How you gonna be a Moreh and don't even like people? You are antisocial, and yet you are antisocial, and yet you trying to be a teacher, a Moreh. You trying to deal with people. You don't even like people. How you gonna be a Moreh? How? This is what I'm saying. Just because you my homeboy? Nah, I'm not. Just because you my bruh and we down like that, I'm not finna say, hey man, look, we trying to establish a boom or there need to be a boom in this particular area. And just because you in that area, I'm not gonna plant a boom for the sake of planting a boom. If you're not solid or qualified, bruh, you're not a teacher. If you don't like people, you're not a Moreh, okay? A Moreh pastor or whatever. You got to love people, all right? It's more than just teaching. Teaching is the easy part. Dealing with people issues, you don't like even deal with people issues. And then if you got issues of yourself, most of this stuff that people are dealing with, you need to be delivered from those issues. You don't need to have those type of problems in your life, all right? Because people going to be dealing with marital problems, all these type of things that you got to be there for them. They kids are out of control and all of this stuff. And you don't have no kind of control. All right. You're not married. How can you get any advice on something you're not even married? Okay. At the end of the day, man, we got to make sure that we get this thing together, man. And I'm not rocking with it. I'm not rocking with it. Point blank period. All right. I'm not rocking. So don't nobody ask me to if you don't want a real evaluation or you don't want me to say, hey, bro, you don't want to call me to the table and say, hey, man, would you examine one of my brothers? We trying to see if he going to be, bro, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it and I'm going to do it real. All right. I'm going to tell you straight up, bro. Nope. He's not a teacher, bro. At the end of the day, it's what it is. And that's fine. Everybody not a teacher. Just like everybody ain't a Moreh, just like everybody ain't a prophet, just like everybody ain't an evangelist, just like everybody not a pastor. All right. At the end of the day, there are certain traits and characteristics that one must possess to function in these areas. And if you don't have the characteristics in these areas, you need to go sit down somewhere. Point blank period, man. Point blank period. Let's look at Numbers chapter number 11 and let's deal with verse number 14, okay? This is Moshe talking. Look at what it says right here. He's talking to the Most High. He says, I'm not able to bear all this people alone. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to read it to you in the KJV. Then I'm going to go into the CJB, which is the complete Jewish Bible, to give you a third kind of a closer understanding from a Hebraic perspective. Okay. All right. Even though we understand the Jewish community is different, will be different from more so from the ancient Hebraic community, but it's close enough to give you an understanding of really what's going on in the ancient times. All right. So that's what I'm going to do. All right. So what I'm going to do is, let me do this real quick before I go into the scriptures. I'm going to give you just kind of a little breakdown of what this is, dealing with this type of translation. Because when I get into 1 Corinthians 14, with women need to learn, wives learn from your husband, I'm going to give you a Hebraic understanding, not your partner understanding. All right. You get mad all you want. I'm going to give it to you from the Hebraic understanding. All right. From what it would be in the ancient times, not your partner. All right. Trying to use King James to push his doctrine. It ain't finna happen. I keep telling y'all better stop this madness, because a whole lot of brothers out here teaching that ain't no teachers. All right. They not no teachers. You can't just look and just read the KJV version and say, see, that's what it says. Because you have to understand these are translations. So you need to get close enough to understanding, especially if you call yourself a Hebrew. Okay. You need to get some Hebraic understanding of what it's like culturally, not just listening to your partner, listening to YouTube videos all day about what he talking about. All right. Or talking to your partner on the phone all day about what he talking about, because both of y'all got a problem with a certain situation. And therefore you want to take and use the KJV however you want to use it. It don't work like that. All right. We need to get an understanding of what's going on if we're going to be teachers or trying to push other people to be teachers. All right. Let's look at this. Let's see what this CJB is talking about. All right. The CJB, presenting the word of I'm going to just read it as it is. Presenting the word of Yah, or the word of God, as a unified Jewish book, the complete Jewish Bible. CJB is a translation for Jews and non-Jews, okay, alike. It connects readers with the Jewishness of the Messiah. Okay, listen to what it says. I'm giving you a breakdown of what this translation I'm about to read so y'all can get an understanding of this, brothers and sisters. Names and key terms are returned to the original Hebrew, which would mean talking about, okay, we know we're talking about the vowel points, which is not paleo, but it is modern. All right, which is still going to give you a close understanding of what's going on within the Hebraic culture. All right, so let's keep reading. Look what it says right here. It says names and key terms are returned to the original work Hebrew. So you're going to get an understanding from that perspective, not from your partner. Okay, not from your partner. All right, we finna go into this. So I already gave y'all a breakdown of what it means by I suffer not a woman to teach, but y'all don't want to accept that. Y'all don't want all the precepts I showed y'all. All right, from the Hebraic perspective, you still ain't want to receive it. You still want to run to 1 Corinthians 14 to validate your point. So I'm going to go right to 1 Corinthians 14 to give you an understanding of what it's talking about from the culture, not from your partner them. All right, let's look at what it says. It says name the key term to return to the original Hebrew and present it in easy to understand transliterations, enabling the reader to say them, all right, the way Yeshua did. The CJB is a translation of the Bible into English, all right, by Dr. David Stern. All right, it consists of Dr. David Stern's revised translation of the Old Testament Tanakh, plus the original Jewish New Testament, or the Brit Hadashah translation in one volume. All right, so we're gonna deal with that. We're gonna start right here. Now let's go to the KJV. All right, I'm going to read to you in the KJV before I get to the Jewish version of this. All right. So let's go to the KJV. Well, let me get to the KJV right here. All right. Now let's go back to Numbers. Go to Numbers chapter number 11. All right. Numbers chapter number 11, verse 14. Listen what it says. He says, I'm not able to bear all this people alone. This is Moshe or Moses, because it is too heavy for me. All right. Verse number 15. And if thou deal thus, all right, if thou deal thus with me, kill me, I pray thee, out of hand, if I have found favor in thy sight, and let me not see my wretchedness. And the Lord said unto Moses, gather unto me 70 men of the elders of Israel. Hold on, let's deal with this right here. As great as Moses was, he can't deal with all the people issues. As great as Moses was, he couldn't deal with all the people issues. Okay? So guess what the Most High said, Moses, you get 70 elders. Now, this ain't just because he ain't talking about go get some cats that's 60 years old, 70 years old. That ain't what he's talking about. You need to understand that there has to be a level of character. You need to make sure, Moses, go get some people that are reputable. All right. We ain't talking about no folks who around here backbiting and all this kind of other stuff. You trying to appoint your partner to them because you and your partner, y'all cool, and y'all talk about other people, and he down with you because you don't like this other person over here because of what this other person do, and y'all partners in cahoots together because y'all don't like the same person. That ain't how it went down. All right. Moses wasn't picking nobody that was just his partner to him or his cousins or somebody that he was just rocking with or he liked. All right. It didn't work like that in Israel. All right. And if you're going to say you Israel, you need to know culturally and historically what an elder is. Someone who is reputable. People can look at it and say, you know what? That brother got a track record. He ain't never messed around on his wife. He ain't never beat his wife. He take care of his kids. All right. He ain't around here being a respecter of persons. He ain't getting in all kind of foolish babbling and all kind of other crazy conversations and all this other stuff. He ain't selfish, thinking about himself. All right. All this other stuff. No, that ain't what was going down. See, y'all do that. That's what y'all do. OK, that's what y'all do. So the Most High tell Moses, pick these, and Moses already know that the people that he picked, the Most High know what type of heart these folks got. So he couldn't just pick anybody just to say, okay, hey, Moses, I picked this dude right here. No. Moses already knew the Most High didn't play. All right. So therefore, he wasn't picking nobody that would fit, that would side with Moses. No, you don't pick nobody and you don't appoint nobody that's just going to side with you. You have to make sure, because you're going to be held responsible for the people that you click up with and the people that you appoint and put in position over other people. That's why I'm telling you, you got a whole bunch of unqualified cats around here appointing and talking about these other folks are qualified to do the job that they ain't even qualified to do. So you got two people, the blind leading the blind. All right. And therefore, you can't have that in the community, man. You cannot have that type of stuff in the community, appointing people who are not qualified to be in positions. OK, just I don't care how long you've been knowing them. It's a lot of people that I know that I've been knowing for a long time. But I wouldn't put them in a position of being a deacon or putting them in a position of an elder. Just because I known you 20 years, that don't mean I'm going to have you next rolling with me and putting it in a position over people. And I know you got problems and issues. It's not finna happen. All right. Because I'm held responsible at the end of the day. All right. If I sit up here and say, hey, man, look, hey, we got a boom over here. Go over here and run and take care and handle that. You be the Moreh over that boom. I have to be able to trust you. First of all, I'm going to pray to the Most High that to make sure that you are the right person for that situation. I'm not going to just put you in those situations all because of this. Man, it's bigger than that, because at the end of the day, you go do something and act like a fool, I'm going to be the one held accountable. People going to look at me. They ain't looking at you. All right. So look what it says here. Look what he tells Moses. He says In verse number 16, and the Lord said unto Moses, gather unto me 70 men of the elders of Israel. 70 men of the elders of Israel, whom thou knowest to be elders of the people. He said, Moses, go get the people that I want you to put upon them. Make sure that these folks that you are putting in position, you know that they are qualified. See, y'all don't do that. Y'all want to put your homeboys on. That's the problem. That's your problem. Y'all want to put your homeboys on. That's the reason why you ain't going nowhere. That's the reason why you ain't advancing. That's the reason why they life jacked up and your life jacked up. Because you're trying to put both homeboys that's jacked up trying to get on. It don't work that way. You cannot put people, all right, or have people in position, all right, and dealing with people's lives. And these jokers are some straight up wicked folks that ain't doing right. All right. At the end of the day, you know your partner ain't doing right. All right. Listen, first of all, I don't deal with all that stuff. That's why when I have an issue with somebody, see, I'm going to make sure I practice the culture that I say I'm a part of. If I got an issue with somebody, I'm calling them. I'm calling them. I ain't backbiting. I ain't sitting over here talking about anything that I'm going to say to you. I can say to anybody else, or anybody else I can say to you, but I'm going to come to you. All right. Because if I got an alt with my brother, I'm coming to you to make sure. All right. To make sure that we've resolved these issues. But no, y'all don't do that. Y'all don't do that. That's why y'all not qualified to be elders. You ain't qualified to teach nobody. You ain't qualified to tell nobody nothing. All right. Because you don't even practice the book. You don't practice the book. And we have to make sure that we got a thorough understanding of what's going on with this book and hold people account. The people that need that's in position of leadership, they need to first be accountable before they can hold somebody else accountable. They need to be accountable before they can hold somebody else accountable. But yet y'all don't want to do that. Y'all want to approach your homeboys. That's why you ain't doing. That's why you ain't going nowhere. That's why the Most High ain't shining on you. Okay. Look at what it says in verse number 16. He says, gather unto me 70 men of the elders of Israel. Look what he says. Whom thou knowest to be elders of the people. You don't just go get anybody. The people that you are appointing, you know that these people are qualified. That's what a leader appoint other leaders. All right. Those who are elders appoint other elders. Those who are Morehs appoint other Morehs, because they know that they're going to be held accountable. And the person that they are appointing, all right, they're going to make sure that they are held accountable. This ain't about a buddy system in the kingdom. All right. This is not about a buddy system. That's where y'all missing it. You think this about a buddy system. And he tell Moses, he said, listen, Moses, all right, do not appoint an unqualified voice to lead this nation. We got a bunch of unqualified voices appointing other unqualified voices who are trying to lead the nation. And that's why the people are confused. That's why they can't get no breakthroughs. That's why it seems like more hell going on over here than anywhere else. Because of the fact that the people who are blind, leading the blind, and appointing other folks as blind. This stuff got to stop. It has to stop. Look at what it says right here. He says, whom thou knowest to be elders of the people and officers over them. This is just the KJV we're reading right here. All right, I'm going to get into the CJB here in the Complete Jewish Bible here in a minute. But look what it says. And bring them unto the tabernacle of the congregation. Moses, this is what I want you to do. I want you to appoint them, choose them, because they need to be chosen before they come into my presence. We're not going to even talk about in his presence. The way some of y'all act, we don't even need to hear you open your mouth to know if you've been in the presence of the Most High. We look at your actions and know that you ain't in the presence of the Most High. You're not getting in the presence of his presence. Look at your actions. Okay. He said, listen, Moses, before you bring them into my presence, they need to be qualified before they come into my presence. Don't come bringing no unqualified voices or jokers in my presence, asking me or expecting me to do nothing for them because I'm going to kill them. So this is what you need to do. Before they come into my presence, make sure that they're qualified. So when they do decide to come, they don't drop dead in my presence. And that's the problem. It's a whole lot of folks going to drop dead. Y'all keep playing with the Most High if you want to. Look what it says right here. He says in let's keep reading verse number 16. And bring them unto the tabernacle of the congregation, that they may stand there with you, Moses. All right. See, this is the problem. This is the problem. See, y'all don't want to follow nobody. That's another big problem for y'all. You don't want to follow nobody. These elders could not come into the tabernacle without Moses. Man, y'all better get out of here with this stuff. You better get out of here with this stuff. You better get out of here with this stuff. Y'all better stop. Y'all better stop. All that stuff. Listen, the Most High told Moses, choose them, pick them, then bring them. Don't send them into the tabernacle by themselves. You come with them. You come with them. You come with them that they may be in my presence with you, not by themselves. With you, not by themselves. This is why it's important for us to have leaders. We're not talking about that somebody's greater than you or better than you. No, these brothers right here, these elders, these brothers were co-laborers with Moses. Moses was just the one used to get them in position and to deliver them. Okay, because they were a part of the children of Israel in Egypt too. So in order for, them to get in this position of being elders, Moses had to lead them out of Egypt. Then they were chosen. Now they were elders. Now they're going to be co-laborers with Moses to bear the burdens of the people. Okay, listen to what I'm saying here. They have to be co-laborers with Moses. See, y'all think because somebody name up front, you looking at it from the wrong perspective. Everybody is used to bring somebody into this salvation or into this truth. The Most High use somebody. Okay, Christ used somebody to help bring somebody else in. Ananias, go down to the road, call straight and inquire one by the name of Shaul, all right, who later name became Paul. He used Ananias to get Paul, okay, to a place, all right, to get him connected with a Barnabas. All right, so therefore, you can't discredit the Most High using somebody to get them in that position. Here's the same thing. He using Moses to get these elders to be co-laborers with him in the ministry to deal with the people and their issues. Okay, so Moses didn't reign supreme over them and suppress them. All right, it was just that Moses was the ears. Okay, Moses was the ears hearing the Most High. Okay. And his voice was assigned to their ears to make sure that the people got what they needed. So Moses would hear from the Most High and he would give direction to these elders and the people. Once the elders came and gave them the word, what Moses gave them, the reason why he said choose those elders that are qualified so that the people would know that these brothers have a reputation. Moses couldn't choose a whoremonger, okay, to sit up there and tell him to go tell somebody else something about not fornicating and adultery when everybody in the community know that they're a whoremonger. Moses can't choose an elder as a thief, all right, a known thief in the community who ain't delivered, to turn around and give the people a word, to tell them to go, hey, listen, y'all better stop stealing or the Most High gonna do this. He's not credible to tell nobody nothing when he himself have no great reputation amongst the people. These elders had to have a reputation, okay, to be qualified to tell somebody else anything. But y'all don't want to do that. Y'all don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. You want to just run around here and act crazy and talk all kind of ways and say all kind of foolishness out your mouth and all this other kind of stuff. And you want people to listen to you and you mad because the people ain't listening to you. The people don't know what you mad for. Why you mad that people ain't listening to you? The Most High ain't going to let the people listen to you. The Most High is not going to let people listen to you because you're not qualified. Okay, you're not qualified. He is muting the ears of the people so they won't hear you because you, behind the scenes, you are just as worse as the people. You have no reputation or track record or anything. The Most High don't even co-sign you for one. So therefore, the people ain't going to see your good works and good deeds. That's the reason why, okay? You're not qualified. You're trying to do stuff behind closed doors. You're trying to shine in public. And the Most High say, no, that ain't finna happen. You're going to make the people 10 times more of a devil than they is right now if I allow you to be an influence in their life. Let's keep reading here. Look what it says right here. All right? Let's break this down. It says, verse number 17, Numbers chapter number 11. Look what it says. Numbers chapter 11, verse 17. He says, and I will come down and talk with thee there. He said, Moses, the only way I'm coming down to talk to them unless you're there. I know you got the reputation. They're going to respect you. But also the people are going to respect them because the people acknowledge and understand that they are reputable in the community. I'm going to get to the topic. I'm doing 2 topics in one section. Okay, I'm gonna get to the topic of wives learn from your husband here in a minute. But I'm dealing with these unqualified voices right now. Okay, look at what it says right in verse number 17. And I will take of the spirit which is upon you, Moses, that same spirit upon you, to be a deliverer for the people, to be able to speak to them and give them wise counsel. That spirit that's on you, they got to have that spirit. That spirit of patience, even though we know that Moses did strike the rock, but up until that point, Moses was patient with the people. He was patient and compassionate because they needed a compassionate leader coming out of Egypt from being beat down. That's why I told y'all the other day when I put up a post, we got unqualified voices out of timing who are Joshua's trying to lead people who came out of Egypt. They don't need a militant leader. They don't need people who just come out of Egypt and people who are still dwelling in Egypt, people who are still trying to find their way. They don't need a Joshua. They don't need a militant leader. They need a compassionate leader. That's who they need. People need compassionate leaders right now. They coming out of all this type of wickedness and all this other stuff going on. They need somebody who is compassionate and a loving leader. They don't need somebody gangster. They don't need that. They don't need that in their life. They don't need a gangster leader. They need a compassionate leader who understands and can. Now, that doesn't mean you compromise and don't talk about the issue of sin that they may have going on. But that means that you are wise in how you deal with the people. That's why Christ was such a powerful evangelist, because he was able to still talk about the sin, but able to give them a place of liberation because of the fact that he was compassionate with the people. He was compassionate, but still talked about their sin. You have no compassion and still trying to talk about their sin. People ain't listening to you. Stop it, man. They're not listening to you. They're just not going to listen to you. I'm telling you. Folks not going to listen to you. You going to tear them folks' house up, man. And that's the problem. Folks be tearing folks' house up, man. Tearing folks' house up. Talking about they giving wisdom. Let's see it. Let's keep reading. Look what it says. It's verse number 17 of Numbers 11. And I will take of the spirit which is upon thee and will put it upon them, and they shall bear the burdens of the people with you. See that? Co-laborers. Co-laborers. Just because I'm a pastor in the Moreh, I have leaders in our boom congregations. They co-labor with me. I don't make them feel as though I'm above them. You got brothers who are deacons, like Deacon Reddick, Deacon Mark, Nettlesby. You have brothers, Moreh, Elder Kevin Waters. These brothers, they co-labor with me. These are co-laborers. I'm above them and they kiss the feet that I kiss the ground that I walk. No. What I tell them to do, I'm going to do. The way I tell them that they should live, whatever guidance I give them, that's what I do. Listen, I'm not going to tell them to clean up and I ain't cleaning up. It ain't happening. No, we are co-laborers. Yes, the Most High might have used me to get the ball rolling, to get the ball, and the people on the outside may look at me as being the leader of Boom and all that other stuff. But these brothers and sisters co-labor with me. Co-labor with me. They're co-laborers. Straight up. So let's look at this right here. Look what he says in verse 17. He says, hey, what's going on, Lady Kamisha? How you doing? Love you. It says right here. It says, look, and we'll put, what's going on, Deacon Reddick? And we'll put it upon them, and they shall bear the burdens of the people with you. He didn't say, Moses, I'm going to take the anointing off of you, some of your anointing, put it on them. You just go sit down and you let them do all the work. That ain't what he said. He said they are going to bear it, the burdens of the people with you. Meaning, as you are a qualified voice in Israel, the people shall also be a qualified voice. Of those elders shall be a qualified voice in Israel, amongst Israel. Not only that, he says, choose Joshua and let him take the torch from you, Moses. But let Joshua walk with you. Let the people see Joshua around you. So when it's time to pass the torch, the people know that Joshua just didn't pop up out of nowhere and they didn't respect him. No, they saw Joshua with Moses, knowing that when it was time for Joshua to take over, the people already seen Joshua putting in work. He was a son of his spiritually and a co-laborer with Moses. So when the time for the torch to be passed, guess what? Joshua, as I was with Moses, so shall I be with you. Joshua, there's only you and Caleb who are going to be the leaders to come out of Israel or come out of the wilderness and go into the promised land, and the children that was born in your generation. All of the others not going to make it. But guess what he did? He said, Caleb, who was not an Israelite, who was an Edomite. Okay, let's deal with that. Caleb was found one as keeping the Torah, as an Edomite who came under the house of Judah. Okay, when he got his portion, guess what? You have a Edomite and an Israelite, both with qualifications to be qualified, because one, they had good reputations because they kept the Torah, and two, they was found to be leaders, being able to sit. All right, Joshua was being able to sit, then be sent. He sit, then he was sent. And then guess what? Caleb and Joshua both went into the promised land, qualified, being able to lead the people. Qualified, being able to lead the people. But y'all don't want that. Y'all just want to just qualify anybody to lead the people. And that's why the people are jacked up right now. Because we got unqualified voices in leadership. And don't nobody want to say nothing. But I'm going to say something. I'm going to say something. Unqualified voices that's trying to be leaders. No, ain't nobody. It's not going down around here. It's not going down around here. It's not going down. Let's read it. Look what it says right here. And will put it upon them, and they shall bear the burdens of the people. Okay? Look what it says. And thou bear it. It says, thou bear it not thyself alone. He said, you're not going to bear this by yourself. I'm going to give you co-laborers to bear this with you. Look what it says, verse number 18. It says, and say unto the people, sanctify yourselves against tomorrow, and ye shall eat flesh, for ye have wept, in the ears of the Lord. All right, saying, who shall give us flesh to eat? Flesh to eat. All right, that's talking about meat. Okay, let's talk about meat. For it was well with us in Egypt. Therefore, the Lord will give you flesh, meat. All right, not talking about a meal, because sometimes when you see the word meat there, if you look at, depend on the context, All right, that meat doesn't actually mean flesh. It just means like a meal or food. All right, but other times when you see the word flesh, that's a translation of dealing with directly in its understanding and context of meat. All right, because Israel was tired of eating manna and they wanted some flesh. All right, so that's what when you start dealing with this context, you get an understanding of this. All right, now I want to deal with that unqualified voices. All right, so now let's go here real quick. I'm gonna jump over here and I'm gonna read it really quick in the Jewish understanding. I'm not gonna expound. I already expounded, but I just want to read it so y'all can get an understanding here. Right? It says in Numbers chapter 11, verse number 14. He said, Moses says, I can't carry the entire people by myself alone. It is too much for me. If you are going to treat me this way, then just kill me outright. This is what Moses is saying to the Most High. If you're going to have me out here by myself, dealing with all these people, just kill me right now. Take me home. I can't deal with all these people. Over 500,000 people. I can't deal with these crazy behind people all complaining and all this kind of stuff going on. They ain't satisfied for nothing. That's how you know we the people of the book. We complain about everything. All right, we are the biggest, most complainingest jokers on the face of the earth. All right, that's how you know we the people. We've been complaining ever since doggone Genesis. All right, since the beginning we've been complainers. All right, and hard-headed and stiff-necked. All right, but let's keep reading here. He says, "Just kill me outright, please, if you have any mercy towards me, and don't let me go on being this miserable." Okay, don't let me go on being this miserable. Look what it says in verse 16. Adonai said to Moshe, bring me 70 of the elders of Israel, people you recognize as leaders of the people. See that? I told you. And officers of theirs. So he said, Moses, you need to figure out these people who gonna be leaders. Make sure that these are people that you would qualify, who you would want to lead your household. All right. So let's see right here in verse number 17. I will come down and speak with you there, and I will take some of the spirit which rests on you and put it on them, and they will carry the burden of the people along with you, co-laborers, so that you won't carry it yourself alone. Look what it says, verse number 18. Tell the people, consecrate yourselves for tomorrow, and you will eat meat or flesh, because you cried in the ears of Adonai. All right, now let's stop right there. Done dealt with that. Unqualified voices, y'all get the point. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes here. Let's get into the meat and potatoes. All right, this whole thing about wives learn from your husband. Woman, sit down. You don't need to be talking and teaching. You need to learn from, men need to teach you. Okay, let's deal with this. Let's deal with it. Again, like I already told you, I dealt with this whole thing about Paul, okay? What Paul says, I suffer not a woman to teach, which I showed you all kind of precepts showing you that even Paul would give his opinion. Doesn't mean it's against Torah, but he would give his opinion sometimes about how to deal with things. Y'all give y'all opinions all the time without even opening up the book, all right? And it don't contradict the Torah. All right, I know people that call me and ask me for my opinion on something, and I give them godly advice, and it doesn't violate the Torah, and I don't have to say it thus saith the Lord. All right, but it's just wise counsel. All right, you can give wise counsel without having to give people a scripture. Okay, it's just what it is. As long as it don't violate the Torah or violate the commandments of the Most High, then it's fine. All right, now let's deal with this right here. All right, we're gonna go. I'm gonna read the KJV first because this is where a lot of the misinterpretation is. All right, let's go into the KJV, and I'll pull this up. Let me see here where it is. All right, we're right here. All right, so 1 Corinthians chapter number 14, and we're going to be dealing with verse number 34, starting verse number 34. But what I want y'all to understand here is, when you read 1 Corinthians 14, if you start at verse number 1, Paul sets the context. First of all, let's lay foundation, okay? The Corinthian church was the most spiritually gifted out of all the churches that Paul has established and that he wrote letters to. These jokers were spiritually gifted. Them folks ain't love each other though. And they was covetous. They didn't have no problem with giving. And they were full of spiritual gifts, but they was covetous. A lot of folk, they saw somebody else who had a gift, a spiritual gift, prophesying, and they didn't want given that gift. One brother may have been given the gift of laying hands and healing folks. He wanted the prophesying gift. He was coveting and wanted somebody else's gift that wasn't given him. He didn't appreciate him being a part of the body and what function and what role that he played. So the Corinthian church was self-mutilating each other by being covetous, not appreciative, and not loving each other. Again, they didn't have no problem with giving. They didn't have no problem with gifts. But they had a problem with coveting. All right? They had a problem with that. So when we start looking at the Corinthian letter, there's 2 Corinthian letters here that we're dealing with. We're dealing with only one. All right? 1 Corinthians. All right? When you read 1 Corinthians 14, Paul is establishing and dealing the whole complete synopsis of this chapter is about edification, understanding, and order. Let's deal with that in that order. Edification, understanding, and order. That is what this chapter is talking about. When you start from verse 1, it deals with, we start talking about dealing with tongues and things of that nature. Paul started dealing with edification. That's why he started telling folks, hey, listen, man, if ain't nobody to interpret, to give an understanding of what's going on, you know what I'm saying? How can the person say amen? That person going to say that person is a barbarian and all these different things going on. So there's a level of edification. Paul said, listen, there needs to be a level of edification, but also there needs to be an understanding that needs to take place so that the Most High can be glorified. That's what this chapter is dealing with. Y'all want to take this chapter and make this chapter out of something that it's not. You want to take this chapter or a couple of verses, the last few verses in the chapter, and you want to throw it on somebody and tell them to go sit down in a corner somewhere, that she need to keep her mouth closed and be quiet because the Most High ain't dealing with her. That's what y'all wanted. This is what y'all wanted to say, according to your doctrine. Not according to the book, according to your doctrine. And I know some brothers out there going to say, hey, oh, brother, well, if that's the case, then, well, it wasn't no women chosen to be priests in the temple. And why was that? What was the only reason why women were in the temple? It was because of their menstrual cycle. They were considered unclean. As a matter of fact, men couldn't come to the temple if they touched their wife at the time and she was unclean. That's the reason why women couldn't be priests in the temple, because of their cycle. And it had to be somebody in the temple every day to make sure the fire kept burning in the temple. So if you put a woman in there and it's her menstrual time and she turn around and they come, the temple gonna be vacant. So therefore the Most High in his wisdom says, okay, sisters, y'all not going to be in the temple. The men will partake in the temple because the men don't have menstrual cycles. And a woman who was on her cycle was considered unclean. That was when we had a temple, okay, that we were going to. This is the reason. That's the only reason why. It wasn't that because they weren't qualified or they weren't smart enough or they didn't have the spirit. If that's the case, the Most High wasn't dealing with them. He sure would have told Abraham. He wouldn't have told Abraham to listen to his wife, because at that time when he was telling him, hey, send Ishmael away, Abraham said, no, I don't want to send Ishmael away. This is my firstborn son. And the woman say, Sarah say, send him away so that it will be no confusion going on in the house. And the Most High had to tell Moses, listen to your wife, because guess what? She's speaking more wisdom than you is right now. She's speaking more wisdom than you are right now. And I chose you. I told you to go in our show. I didn't tell her to go in our show. But guess what? If she's going to be your helpmeet, she got to have some wisdom to help your behind. The problem is y'all men don't want a woman to help you because you feel as though you're not a man if a woman help you. And that right there is a trick of Hasatan. That is a trick of Hasatan. You are losing. You are putting your, it don't make you no less than a man because your wife turn around and give you some form of advice and wisdom to help you in a situation. It don't make me, I'm resolved in being a man. I'm resolved in my manhood. All right. I'm resolved in my manhood to the point to where I can receive advice and I can give it too. It don't make me no less than a man of the Most High. It don't make me no less than a man of the Most High. It don't make me no less than a man of the Most High. But you not resolved in who you are. And you think that, oh, go sit down somewhere. That don't make me feel like a man. See, the problem is you ego tripping. You trying to prove something to your partner then that you a man because you tell your wife to go sit down because your wife is quiet and won't open her mouth. That don't make you no man. That make you look like a fool. And your wife is in bondage or your woman is in bondage. A real man resolved in who he is. I don't need my wife to sit up there. Now we understand there's an order. We feel that there's an order. Y'all around here, you so much in a bondage. You know you a better cook than your wife. I'm finna step on some toes now. But I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna go there. You a better cook than your wife and you trying to force her to cook knowing her food ain't good. Knowing you a better cook than she is. But you feel like you ain't a man because you got to get in the kitchen and cook. Y'all better wake yourself up. Better get in. You think you a man because you sitting up there, your wife you frowned up and mad because your wife make more money than you. Listen, let me tell you something. There are a whole lot of brothers whose wives make more money than them, and you wouldn't know it because their wife still treat them like a king. You're a king. It don't make you no less than a king because she make more finances than you. It don't make you no less than a king of that household. It don't make you no less than a king. You are a man by how you handle your business, how you love your wife, how you take care of your kids. That's what makes you a man, and how you follow and love on the Most High. This is the reason why y'all brothers won't even cry to the Most High. That's why you can't get no breakthrough, because a whole lot of y'all think if you shed a tear, that make you less than a man. When the Most High was crying to his Father while he was on the cross, but you talking about you a man of Yah. Man, get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. You trying to suck it up and be hard. Okay, go ahead, be hard. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. The Most High just going to show you how hard he is and how hard you are because you want to put on a front for your partners them. You trying to impress your partners them? Your partners is the main one ain't coming to your defense when hell hits your household. He the main one on the phone, tired of you calling him because you talking about your problems at home. He the main one. And your partner is making your house worse for yourself by giving you unwise advice on how to deal with your woman. Tell her to go sit down in the corner somewhere. You a man of Yah. Man, come on, man. Y'all don't get it, man. You don't get it. Let's keep reading. Now, let's get into the book. Let's get into the book real quick. All right? We're finna deal with this, and I'm going to show you how it can be easily misinterpreted before we get into the customary understanding of the Hebraic way of how things was done culturally in a thorough understanding. All right. You just can't read this book and just read a verse and say that's what it says without some form of understanding what this thing talking about. Let me tell you something else. Our women, our sisters, they really don't want to lead, bruh. They really don't want to lead, bruh. Let's be real about this. Our sisters really don't want to lead, bro. If the men step up and really take charge, not by your mouth, Not by not by a facade that you putting on. Most of these women don't want to follow y'all because they see straight through y'all. They see straight through y'all. They see you soft as cotton. They see you ain't no real man. That's why most of them don't want to follow you and do what you say. You trying to tell them what to do, and they see you ain't real. They see you not real. They see you not real. But that's the problem, man. That's the problem. Y'all think being real by putting on a facade outside. And let me say another thing too. Half of y'all dudes ain't gangster. All right, let's get that real. Let's get that real. I don't have to bring up my past or bring up past of my brother or my past of my uncles and cousins, my family. I don't have to bring up that past. But half of y'all cats, y'all ain't gangster. Straight up. Straight up. Let me tell you, let me put a whole bunch of y'all on notice. A whole lot of y'all brothers talking that stuff, y'all ain't gangsters. Man, y'all work too hard and put too much on the front to be a gangster. Gangsters don't act like y'all. Real street dudes don't act like y'all. They don't act like y'all. Y'all dudes ain't gangsters. Y'all dudes grew up in the suburbs. Y'all ain't never really, and that don't mean that somebody grew up in the hood. That don't mean they gangster, but half of y'all brothers is not, man. And y'all come into Israel and y'all try to act gangster because y'all want to take the book and think the book gonna validate y'all as being men and being hard. Nah, bro, don't work like that. All right, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. It don't work like that. I know some gangsters and some brothers who done been delivered from being some gangsters, and that don't mean that them brothers won't get at you. Straight up. Now let's get into this, man. Let's look at this. All right, 1 Corinthians chapter number 14, and I'm gonna be out y'all way. All right, I'm gonna get into this and I'm gonna get out y'all way. All right, let's look at this right here. All right, 1 Corinthians 14, we're going to start at verse number 34. All right, dealing with this, wives, learn from your husband. Go sit down somewhere. All right, 1 Corinthians 14 and verse number 34. Let your women keep silent in the church. You see that? See that? See that? See that? See that? I told you. See, Paul said, y'all see what I'm saying? Paul said, okay, Paul said, women, go be quiet and go sit your behind down. It's a such thing as context, bro. It's a such thing as context. And you get the context when you read verse number 1 all the way down to 34 to understand that Paul is talking about edification, understanding, and order. He ain't just talking about a woman go sit down somewhere and be quiet. Just like when he said, I suffer not a woman to teach, he ain't talking about wives. It's two different contexts. It's two different understandings. One is dealing with women in general, and the other one now is dealing with wives. Because every woman ain't a wife. Every woman is not a wife. Okay? So let's get this understood. Look what it says right here. He says, they start right in verse number 34. Let your women keep silent in the church, for it is not permitted unto them to speak, but they are commanded under obedience, also saith the law. See there it is right there. I told you, it's in the law. The woman, you need to sit down somewhere. Sit down somewhere and get some understanding. Pipe down, pipe down. Okay? Pipe down, get you some understanding of what's going on. All right? Now, let me keep reading here. Then I'm going to go into the CJB and give you some understanding of what's going on. Okay? Look what it says here. But they are committed to be under the obedience as also saith in the law. Verse 35. And if they will learn anything, let them ask their husbands at home, for it is a shame for women to speak in the church. See there, you need to sit down. Y'all women don't need to talk. You ain't got no voice. All right, stop right there. Verse number 36. Let's keep reading here. What came from the word of Yah out from you? Or came it unto you only? All right. So he says, the word of Yah just came to you. Okay. Look what it says. Or came unto you only, or came out of you. Look what it says, verse 37. If any man think himself to be a prophet or spiritual, let him acknowledge that the things which I write unto you are the commandments of Elohim, or the commandments of the Lord. 38. But if any man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. Wherefore, brethren, covet to prophesy. All right. If you want to covet, all right, since y'all love coveting, it's better for you to prophesy than it is for you to speak in an unknown tongue. This is what Paul said. This is the context of 1 Corinthians 14. This is the context of 1 Corinthians 14 to give you an understanding. And forbid not to speak with tongues. Verse number 40. Let all things be done decently and in order. Edification, understanding, and order. Now, that I read the KJV, that y'all look at and make literal and don't get an understanding of what this is talking about, let's go into the complete Jewish Bible and let's try to get an understanding from a Hebraic perspective to bring us some clarity of really what Paul talking about. All right. Now, let's go here. We're going to go into the CJB. All right. Here we go. All right. 1 Corinthians chapter number 14, verse number 34. Let's deal with this in the CJB. Let the wives remain silent when the congregation meets. Listen to what he says. Listen to what Paul says. He says they are certainly not permitted to speak out. Rather, let them remain subordinate, as also the Torah says, meaning let them not be disrespectful to their husbands when these men are meeting, dealing with issues. Let's get this understanding here. I want y'all, let's get this understanding here, bro. Okay? Listen to what he's saying. He's saying when these brothers meet, when brothers are meeting, dealing with issues amongst the congregation, he said, listen, let your wife be respectful and not blurting out, talking about, hey, I got some, let me help y'all out. Y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Let me help y'all. Let me give you some revelation. That's what Paul talking about. When brothers meet together and talk about dealing with issues that's going on in the community, and if their wives come with them, and while dealing with these issues, because most of the time, the men, when they dealt with issues, they would have council meetings. And during these council meetings, when there was issues going on within the community, some of the men would bring their wives. But the wives, just like children, needed to be quiet while men are being men handling business. That's what this is talking about. Let the men handle the business. Children, be quiet. Don't be yelling and screaming. Grown men are talking. Sisters, let men handle this. Don't offer no form of advice while men are having a conversation about things that's going on within the church. This is what this is talking about, Ak. Okay, let's keep reading here. Look what it says. It says, let the wives remain silent when the congregation meets. They are certainly not permitted to speak out. Rather, let them remain subordinate, as also the Torah says, showing respect to their husbands, because these are wives. And a reflection of you is your wife. If your wife is yelling out, talking crazy, all right, screaming out during the time while men are meeting and handling business, it makes the husband look bad. Ak. Okay, let's get this understood. It makes the husband look bad when men are meeting and having a level of understanding when dealing with the Most High God or the Most High Yah's word. Okay, we need to get this understood and stop trying to use this as a means of, woman, go sit down. All right, go sit down. You ain't got no biblical understanding. Instead of using this as a woman go sit down and I have the you need to get understanding, bro. You just can't read these verses and turn around and make this mean something to fit your doctrine. It's not the Most High's doctrine. If that's the case, you know what the Most High would have said? The prophet Joel, I'm going to pour out my spirit upon the men and they shall prophesy. And they shall dream dreams. He wouldn't include it daughters. He wouldn't have included daughters. He would say, I'm going to pour out my spirit upon the men of the boys or the young men, and they shall prophesy. He would have made that very clear. He would have made that very clear. But he said, no, I'm going to pour out my spirit, and your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. And a part of prophesying, you got to teach the people, because you got to be able to hear from the Most High to be able to give the people revelation of what you reading. Okay, let's get it understood, man. And let's stop these games. If you ain't a man, go sit down and let real men stand up. If you're not a man, go sit down and let real men handle the Most High business. Men who are confident and resolved in themselves and not around here trying to have some form of wreck. The problem is, y'all, most of y'all cats, y'all come into this situation and y'all ain't never had too many women. That's the reason why you act the way you act. That's the reason why you want to lord over a woman, because you ain't never had a woman. That's the problem. In high school, you probably ain't never really had no girls to give you no attention, or no wife or no girl that's showing you attention. Most of us real men out here, we used to that. So therefore, we understand when we get wise, we know how to treat a woman because we used to treating women right. We used to treating them right. But the problem is y'all coming to this, y'all ain't used to having no girlfriend. Y'all ain't used to having no women give y'all attention. And you come into this and you want to lord over the woman because of your low self-esteem. Nah, man, what you need to do, you need to go and go pray to the Most High that he give you some self-esteem to deal with this thing. We don't need no dudes trying to be leaders in the nation that sit running around here with low self-esteem. We don't need that. We don't need that. You need to deal with the Most High before you start trying to teach. Keep telling y'all all these unqualified voices out here trying to teach and give other people voices who are unqualified. Get your act together, Look what it says right here. It says in verse number 35. Look what it says in verse number 35 in the complete Jewish Bible. It says, and if there is something they want to know, let them ask their own husbands at home. He said, look, after we have these meetings and we dealing with these issues that's going on in the church, if your wife want to know what's going on and what we're talking about, or if your wife want to give you advice to how it can help the situation, when y'all having pillow talk, when y'all in y'all bed at night or whatever, or y'all at the dinner table, and she want to know what y'all was talking about, then you let her be able to talk and give you some understanding of what's going on. Okay, look what it says in verse number 35. And if there's something they want to know, let them ask their own husbands at home, for it is shameful for women to speak out. Why you keep saying he said speak out? Why do you think Paul keeps saying it is shameful for a woman to speak out? It's a different when you talk about speaking and speaking out. You know what speaking out is? Speaking out is just like old girl was on Tiana Taylor, okay, on Medea with Byron. Every time he come out, Byron, you don't know what you talk about, Byron. That's what speaking out is. Bonquisha. Always got something to say. Always trying to tell folks what to do. Always sitting up here trying to interrupt meetings. Always trying to cause conflict, interrupt, always lording over you as a man. That's what Paul's talking about. And it's some of y'all sisters trying to lord over your husband and always trying to tell him something and don't never give him an opportunity to handle his business as a man. So that's what Paul's saying. He said, look, if you want to know something or learn something, because it's a level of order and edification while men is handling men business, in dealing with issues concerning the body, concerning the church, if a woman, if she wants to know or give some form of advice, don't let her speak out and interrupt the council meeting. When y'all get home, okay, when y'all get home, y'all talk about it. All right. And then maybe she can give you some advice or something like that to maybe to help. And then you come back and bring it to the brethren, okay, about what y'all talked about with y'all pillow talk. All right. So let's keep reading. Look what it says right in verse number 35. He said, for it is shameful for a woman to speak out in a congressional meeting. This talking about meetings. This ain't talking about worship service. Wait, where y'all get this from? The Hebrew culture understanding is talking about meetings. It's talking about making sure that there's order when men are handling business, when it comes down to dealing with any form of issues in the community. If your wife comes, she needs to be quiet just like the kids and let the meeting take place between the brethren. Okay? This has nothing. This is talking about congressional meetings when brothers getting together. All right, and deal with these issues in the community. Verse number 36, look what it says. Let me read it again, verse number 35. And if there is something they want to know, let them ask their own husbands at home, for it is shameful for a woman to speak out in a congressional meeting. All right, verse number 36. Did the word of Yah originate with you? Now watch Paul deal with the men. Now, here, check this out. Look how Paul do. Paul finna switch gears on y'all brothers. He finna deal with y'all men because some of y'all men don't like. Because a brother say, hey, man, listen, talk to your wife at home about that. We men together, we handling business. All right? Because some of y'all brothers let y'all wife run y'all. Some of y'all brothers let y'all wife just act out of order and all kind of stuff in the meetings. All right? So Paul is saying, listen, this is not telling her she got to go sit down somewhere. She ain't, the Most High ain't, the Lord ain't dealing with her. That's not what Paul's saying. Paul is just making sure that when there's congressional meetings or things going on, that there's order. But listen what he says, just in case y'all brothers want to get offended with Paul. In verse number 36, look what he says. He said, did the word of Yah originate with you? Or are you the only people it has reached? Now listen what Paul says. If anyone or any man think he is a prophet or it is endowed with the Spirit, let him acknowledge what I am writing, because this is a letter. What I am writing you is a commandment of the Lord. So Paul said, listen, you say you're a prophet? You say you're a man of the Most High? What I'm telling you, you shouldn't be offended by it, because you should know that it should be order within the congregation. And shouldn't be no outbursts during the time when men are handling business for the Most High. That's what Paul is saying. They shooting fireworks outside my house. That's what Paul is saying. You should know that what I'm saying, it comes from the Most High. And this is not myself speaking here. So I'm writing you a letter so you can understand what's going on. Why? Because somebody wrote Paul a letter talking about, hey man, listen, Paul, every time Jerome bring his wife to the doggone church meeting, Keisha always outbursting in the meeting. See, we don't have, I bet you if we had the opportunity to read the letter that was written to Paul, we wouldn't be confused and use this type of doctrine to throw women to the side talking about they can't teach. No. We would have a clear understanding of what Paul's saying. Listen, hey, man, listen, I'm so sick of Jerome's wife, man. I'm sick of Jerome. Paul, listen. Because when you read the book of Acts, you know that everywhere Paul went, okay? Everywhere, every one of these letters that Paul wrote was letters where Paul visited these cities and established these congregations. So the people knew who Paul was and knew where he was at because they was writing him letters. So he would respond back to them in a letter. He would write them a letter. They write him a letter, and he'll respond back. So when you hear Paul saying, we're not under the law, somebody wrote him a letter about somebody of these Pharisees trying to doggone use something dealing with sacrifice or something of that nature. And Paul said, we're not under the law. But we take that and just read it without a thorough understanding. That's why I tell brothers and sisters, and that's why I established our congregation. I thoroughly go through the book of Acts with them so that that way they can get a complete understanding of Paul's letters. You cannot get an understanding of it if you don't go through Acts to get an understanding of what Paul is saying in his letters. Brothers is writing Paul. Man, every time Jerome come to the meeting, he always bring his wife. He won't leave her home. And every time she come, Paul, every time she come, she always interrupting the meetings, man. Every time. She always talk about, nah, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. Nah, y'all don't know what y'all talking about. No, here, let me tell you something. Don't listen to them, Jerome. Don't listen to Jerome. And Jerome be like, well, I got this. No, you be quiet, Jerome. You be quiet. See, what y'all need to be doing up in here, y'all need to be doing this. Y'all need to be doing that. And Steve, you the main one. Can't be talking all the stuff you doing on your wife. See, all that kind of stuff. And Paul like, what? Nah, bro. Hold on. When men are having meetings, y'all need to tell the women they need to be quiet. She don't need to be, Keisha don't need to be tearing up the doggone meeting. Okay? Either he leave her home or the law says that she need to be submissive to her husband and show respect to her husband by keeping her mouth closed. A form of respect to her husband is keeping her mouth closed. Say that to my Rasputia, man. Hey, Zadok, give me a minute. I'm gonna bring you on, man. I'm gonna try to bring you. Hopefully, Facebook can bring you in. All right. Make sure you landscape though on the camera whenever I do. All right. Let's look at this right here. He says right here, he says, but verse number 38, and we almost done. But if someone doesn't recognize this, then let him remain unrecognized. Paul said, look, if they don't recognize that they need to keep their wife mouth, that the wife need to keep her mouth closed, don't acknowledge him as a leader. Woo! If you can't keep if your wife can't keep, why? Because even being a qualified bishop, a man must have order in his house of his children and make sure that even his wife respects him. If a man is a deacon, he needs to be qualified to make sure his wife respects him and his children are in control. So this is the same thing. If a man don't want to acknowledge what I'm saying, don't even recognize him as a leader. He don't even need to come back to the meeting. When y'all have meetings, don't even text him. You make sure you text everybody but him. Text everybody but him. Because if he ain't qualified and ain't showed no qualifications, text everybody but him. Let him remain unrecognized. They forgot Paul started the entire letter with addressing the things whereof you wrote them. Absolutely. Absolutely, Zadok. Hold on. Let me do this. And I'm going to read one more verse and I'll bring you in. Here we go. All right. Verse number 39. So my brothers eagerly seek to prophesy and do not forbid speaking in tongues, but let all things be done in proper and in orderly way. Edification, understanding, and order. This is what it's talking about. Not what you wanted to say. Not what you wanted to say. And we got unqualified voices trying to teach what this book says with no understanding, causing more nuts in the kingdom. Causing more nuts with name tags. They done stole somebody's badge as manager and ain't been proven to be a manager. Ain't put in the time to be a manager. And nobody co-signed them to be a manager. Period. Now let me see if my Ak on here real quick. All right, let me see if I can get him on. I'm hoping he can get on here. Trying to see if he's on here. Hey, Zadok, I don't know. Let me see if you can send me a Zadok. Hold on, let me find him. Where is that? Oh, hey, Ak, for some reason, I don't know if you are on your phone? Cause it's not giving me the green video camera emoji to invite you in. So I don't know if is your phone landscape. Make sure you turn your phone landscape out and try to send me a request to come on. All right, I got a couple more minutes and I'm gonna let you off. I'm gonna get off of here. You on here, Zadok? Trying to see if Moreh Zadok is on here. Okay, let me see. They need to ignore the live button and stop the madness. All right, I'm trying to bring you in, but it's saying no answer. It's not letting me bring you on. It's saying no answer. Hold on. Yeah, I got the request, but it's showing me that I have other people on here that has the green camera emoji, but it's not for some reason yours don't have it. I don't know if you're in a good coverage area. Sometimes if you're not in a good coverage area, it won't let you on. Let me see. Eric Riddick, send me a friend request, Eric Riddick. Let me see if I can get you on. Yeah, it's saying no answer. Let me see here. Just want to test something really quick. Eric, where's Eric Riddick? Okay. All right, I just wanted to test it real quick to see if it worked. They got you on. Let me see if I can get Zadok. All right. All right. So that worked. I don't know why Zadok. I need to see why it's not letting me let you on. Hold on. All right, hold on. I think that's it. All right, there it is. It is. What's going on, brother?
Hey, shalom, shalom, Hebrew. How you doing?
All right, brother. What's going on with you, man? Go ahead. And I know you want to add something. I saw you in the peanut gallery.
I was just hollering. Next time you teach, Ak, you need to wear your chef hat because you was cooking. You understand what I'm saying? Real talk. You need that young chef hat right on with Yahuwah written across that joint. Real talk.
Yeah.
That was pretty tight, Ak. All I can say is this. I second everything you said. Um, in the Christian Orthodox community, unfortunately, they've rejected so much thought from the Nazarene perspective since the first, second, and third century as they grew in number in the Mediterranean world and wanted to push out the influence of Israelite Christians, if you
Right.
will, or Nazarenes properly, that they've unfortunately spent a millennium and a half with not minimizing their great philosophical side of themselves, but yet they've totally rejected the source.
Yeah.
And I believe that in that context, they haven't had those who have stood up to debate the concept. Because my thing is that probably besides a woman like Mother Teresa or someone, or some nun in a monastery somewhere under Catholicism, You don't find a Deborah, Miriam, or Huldah type figure in all of so-called church history that's talked about as having any type of influence on the people
Right.
whatsoever. If the women did, they're not spoken of. They're silent on the women who stood up and led. You know, they might point to Joan of Arc or something, but she was a woman, a warrior. Now, while I will say in the Torah and in the Tanakh itself, it doesn't extensively just list women who did
Right.
this, that, and the third, we can at least point to the fact that we can find some who were so significant to the history of the people that they were written about.
Mm-hmm.
um the elder Barak, when it was time for him to help lead Israel out of war, even though Deborah told him, the Most High said, you got to lead the army. That man said, look, okay, cool, but if you ain't coming with me, then I ain't doing it.
That's right.
So for the Israelite army in bondage to a hostile power for a couple of decades, to have the confidence to go to war against an enemy that they have had no courage to fight in 30, 40 years. The man who was chosen said, look, if the men see you and hear you say what you just said to me, then that makes it official. Ain't none of these men about to follow me unless the prophetess, Deborah, who was a wife.
That's right.
But notice how the Most High didn't have her husband be the one all Israel came to as she sat under the great oak.
Right.
All the leaders of the tribes came to her to hear the wisdom of Yah, not her husband. I'm not saying he wasn't a great man, but notice how
Right.
the scripture doesn't put him in front, because at that time, Yahuwah wanted to make sure that this daughter of Israel was the one that people understood. So out of all the judges, this woman was so important that they ain't had no confidence to war without her, without them seeing and hearing from her. So she gives instruction to all the army of Israel. All of Israel want judgment on societal matters in that day, and not even a son of Levi
Yes.
outranked her.
Absolutely.
Stop it. But Western Christianity don't have one woman
Right.
that I know of who they name, and when you get in the one name like Ellen G. White or something, you already know what, oh, that Millerite, that she's crazy. William Miller was wrong with his prophecy of Jesus coming in 1874, and then she gonna come and say he was right. He just had the event wrong. Jesus
Right.
took throne in heaven. So, you know, they write her off, one of the mothers of the Adventist church. But besides that, man, you ain't really hearing them talk about no women like that. And so I will say this for the Hebrew Israelite community, you got a lot of cats, man, who they done sat on YouTube, they done seen these cats and they like their militarism, I guess. And so they reach out to these guys. And they like, yo, man, we wanna do the will of the Most High too. So these guys reply, well, for us, a nominal fee of 1,500, we could send y'all the kit.
Right.
Now all of a sudden you got some Negroes pop up away on the West Coast somewhere with their ponchos on, with their fringes, with some boards, and with a doctrine. In some crews, at least the IUIC might send a guy out to you, and they might spend a month down there to see if you about something. But what is the real standard? I mean, if a man was going to be a bishop or deacon to help lead the body of Yahushua, brother, he had to have a good report among the brethren, and then they had to go to the streets, and he had to be reported outside the brethren as being a man of reputation. Now,
Right.
why was that? Because in the Gentile world, as you're building the church, since the Gentiles societally don't live under the auspices of Levi and the Torah that governs the land of Israel, the principle of integrity still had to apply to someone who didn't live under the authority of a Sanhedrin or even ever met the council at Jerusalem. Notice how Paul, even when him and Barnabas had an issue with them brothers in Acts 15, they still had to be willing to go back to Jerusalem to sit under the apostles and elders so the matter could be worked out. Even Paul didn't just say, no, the Holy Spirit gave me this and everybody got accepted or else. No, he went and made sure that authority through the Ruach HaKodesh signed off on the conclusion him and Barnabas had, and they were right.
Absolutely.
Brother, these men, the way that they deal with our sisters is the same way these Negroes popping up with this brand new polygamous movement. You know.
See, I ain't go there. You did, but you might well go now. You might well go in there now.
I'm going there because when I leave you, I'm going right to my page to teach because I'm supposed to be teaching right now. But you said you wanted me to come on, so I didn't push the minutes back.
I got you.
The same way these Negroes who in the street couldn't be a player and chicks wasn't feeling them. Once they found out, like you lied to me and said I was the only one, but you messing with other chicks. So she take her car back that he be riding around in the hood at when she at work.
Right.
She kick him out of her house and keep her PS4 that she brought for him.
Yes.
You just watch my kids while I go make the money and you cool and he sit up in the house and smoke weed with the money she leave every morning to her baby.
Right.
My bad. He might get some labor ready money every now and again. You know, some of them dudes, they get up and they go to labor ready.
Look, yeah.
Man, look, I'm not trying to defame any individual, but I am generalizing. And yes, I'm being a little bit facetious because just like Umar Johnson popping up on the internet like he's someone we all should listen to. He's been building a school for 100 years. Who is your board? I want to see you. Where is your crew? I want to at least see one dude who sit with Umar who like, well, we don't be on camera. He the spokesman. I mean, even though Martin Luther King was the spokesman of the civil rights movement, he was elected to be. They don't want to talk about how at that meeting he got sat down and challenged by Mother Ella Baker on his thoughts on how to lead the people. And King and all of them admit that it was Ella Baker who schooled him on how to go about leading the civil rights movement. If you point to one movement that has helped our people just in this country that didn't have women at the top in administration and in voice positions so that we could make the best of our effort, you pointing to me a movement that didn't move no needle for the so-called African American in this country.
Absolutely.
So as you said, when it comes to the order of congregation, look, man, my wife a beautiful woman, but if I'm getting into it with some oxen, we heat it right in front of the people because that can happen. Peter got withstood to his face and his wife stand up and feel some kind of way about it. And your brother in his zeal say, look, shut up and sit down, sis. Now, I got to feel some kind of way about him because you don't tell my wife to shut up, bruh. So look, we just got to chill. But in all I could speak is for the Yeshua Knesset. We've been literally established since 2003. We are a brick and mortar organization. We have true disciples. We have people that sit in our congregation, families that have joined us, people who have moved to our city from around the country for discipleship. And our women are important. They wasn't, Joel didn't say he was going to put the spirit on the women so they can teach the kids.
Yeah.
They've been given for one reason, to teach the kids. Man, look, man. When he said, I don't suffer a woman to teach nor usurp authority over a man, the truth of the matter is this. They separate the teach from usurp authority. He did not allow for a woman to teach over a man, nor to snatch authority, because in that Greco-Roman world, you had women coming into the church who were wealthier than men. You have women who in the secular world had slaves. They owned land. They were Republican women. They had men under them who were looking for an inheritance from this woman. And these women coming into church culture had to understand, sis, there's a difference of authority And you're going to have to be willing, if you're a man's wife especially, you don't embarrass your husband like that. And if you don't have a wife, then have respect unto the elders,
Yep.
the males of the people. When we were in assembly, in Hebrew they call it the kahal. You had the
Mm-hmm.
kazal, which was the elders, and then the assembly where all the men and the people of the tribes heard and gave their democratic voice. Besides the elders was the kahal. So when the
Right.
kahal is gathered together, even in ancient Israel, women didn't just stand up and go crazy, which is why even when Miriam and Aaron went against Moses and spoke against his wife,
Mm-hmm.
the Lord smote Miriam, not because she had something to say, but because she
Right.
wasn't supposed to come at Moses like that in front of the people. And I believe Aaron was
Absolutely.
only spared because he had the anointing oil on him at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's my opinions, whether I'm wrong or right, man. I ain't had to have nothing to say. I was just willing to support you and
I,
be a cheerleader in the
I
background, but you asked for my little opinion, so I gave it.
I know it, man. You know, but I like, again, you know, when you respect brothers in the community, not just um, you know, from an intellect possession, but you respect them because they have the spirit of the Most High. You know, at the end of the day, man, I've always been resolved in myself and never been some type of fear of sharing a platform. Never, because it's not my platform anyway. But when I'm moved by the Most High and the Spirit to do it, the Ruach to do it, hey man, come on and share, because I already know it's going to edify the people, and it has edified the people. I'm seeing the comments just going crazy, and you poured in some insight or some things that I didn't even touch on or deal with, but you brought it out, man, and so I definitely respect you for that, man, and I appreciate it.
Well, let me say this: all praise due to Yahuwah. Um, this thing that we have isn't ours. It's something you said that women have told me and my brethren to our face.
Mm-hmm.
We tired of being fathers to our sons and daughters. We just want to be their mothers. They
Yeah.
gonna love us regardless, but we don't want all of their love exclusively. We
Right.
want them to love our fathers. What people in history can you point to? You ain't seen one army in history say, "Uh-oh, let's get out of here. Look at all these women and these children coming for our neck."
Mm-hmm.
When you can hold down the male of any people, you will not, those people will not be able to proverbially lift themselves up by the bootstrap. So what you said to the sisters, I didn't see one sister. No, what you said to us men, I'm sorry. I didn't see
Mm-hmm.
one sister or mother in Israel in this group defer. They all agreed. While they do love to have a voice in the direction of our people, they don't want to have to do a male's job.
Right.
And so we
Yeah.
get mad, and all of a sudden you start feeling like you a man a little bit, and then you forgot the respect you better have for your mama. Look, if
Mm-hmm.
something going on amongst me and my brethren, and my mother show up and she just see what's going on, and she like, wait, hey, hold on, young man. Hold on, all y'all need to kind of calm down a little bit. Let me say something to y'all, because I've been sitting back listening. If you want to be my friend from that moment forward, my mom ain't even got to be in it. She ain't even got to be practicing in the faith. Yo, you better listen.
Yeah.
Because she in my house and I'm listening. You better shut up.
Right.
And then we could talk about my mama when she leave.
Exactly.
But
Hey,
yeah,
and
I'm going to get out your hair, man. This was good. If you don't mind, I just wanted to share a little information with you and the
go
people.
ahead.
I've been seeing some cats who've been trying to pump this Christmas and you know, holiday stuff, and I on purpose, because most of my family and friends I know, you know, they do all this stuff. So I didn't want to be an antagonist and get on
Yeah.
Christmas Day and swing my sword at nobody, man. Let people do what they do. They know what's up. They
Yeah.
just didn't see me. They knew
Right.
I was incognito for the
Right.
festivities.
Right.
But right now I'm getting off here and I'm going to my page. So any of y'all in here who don't know me, uh I'm Brother Zadok Lamut Yehoshua, aka Ben Israel. Um after Brother Majors closes out, if you want to come in here something right, because I know y'all don't care about the ball dropping. Y'all don't want to watch Steve Harvey take the place of Dick Clark and talk about the ball dropping in 2 hours. Y'all come right over to my page, and I'm doing a presentation on with historical primary and secondary sources, because these Calvinists and they bunches that, you know, all they can respect is so-called what's credible to them. So
right.
the sources they love, we're going to just kind of break down for about an hour what the 12 days of Christmas is, and the whole concept about Jesus or Yeshua's birthday, and why I believe that a disservice is being done to the body politic, and that those who love the Lord need to really consider putting down that tradition, which I think, even if the intentions was good at first, it's become as corrupted as the brazen serpent became in the days of King Josiah. Josiah said, look, man, we know that Moses was told by Yah to make that serpent, and we done
Right.
held it for about 600 years, but now the people done turned this thing into an idol. So even though God told Moses to make it, I got to break it down into powder and throw it into the brook of Kidron.
Right.
So even if they want to claim that Christmas started out as whatever, well, damn it, y'all done corrupted it to hell and back, and we need to get rid of it. So I thought it would be fitting on New Year's, because the 12 days of Christmas that we sung about, you remember that partridge in the pear tree stuff they taught us when we was a kid in elementary school?
Right.
Well, December 25th to January 6th is the window for the 12 days of Christmas, because in the eastern part of the Roman Empire, they celebrated on the 6th of January. And in the western part, and we are in the western part, they celebrated on the 25th. And it's a reason why. So I just want to give all of those who name the name of Yahushua, I want to just give you some information, and maybe it'll encourage you, and maybe it'll edify you. If you didn't have it before, it's all free. It's for everybody. That's why I'm sharing it tonight. So thanks for letting me get out that shameless plug, Ak. And you already know what's up. If you need me, I'm easy to find like a stop sign, bro.
Absolutely. Y'all go follow Zadok Ben Israel as well, man. Go send him a friend request and follow him. He a dope MC too. So y'all like music, y'all like Kingdom raps. He's dope too. So he not one of them brothers we gotta tell to go sit down. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it. Hey, I love you, Hebrew. Keep doing the kingdom's business, bro.
Absolutely love you as well, man. All right, Hebrew. All right, shalom. That's Zadok Ben Israel. Also, so I'm gonna get off here, but what I want y'all to go check out in your leisure time, Acts the 1st chapter. All right, Acts the 1st chapter over there, and check out Zadok. There was a situation where they had to choose a disciple to take the place of Judas. And so when it came time for that, Peter and all the other brethren got together with the sisters, including Mary, Christ's mother, and got them together, and they all prayed. And so when they prayed, they asked for guidance for who would replace Judas. And when they did that, they all cast lots. And when they cast lots, all right, we talking about the women and the men prayed, and the women and the men cast lots to decide who was the next disciple be, or apostle to be, to replace Judas. Okay, so that wasn't just the brothers who made that decision, but it was also the sisters in Acts the 1st chapter with the brothers who prayed to the Father, and all of them, men and women, cast lots, and the lots fell on one of the brothers. All right. So shalom to you all. Grace, peace, and many blessings to all my Christian brothers and sisters, as well as my Hebrew brothers and sisters. I pray that y'all always edified. I pray that you cannot eat without eating from the word of the Most High Yah. All right. Because man should not live by bread alone, but every word that proceeded out of the mouth of Yah. I pray that you cannot drink without drinking from the living waters that flow from Christ. Let the light that is within you shine bright outside of you, and remember to love one another, so that the world may know that we serve the true and living Yah. If you are in the Atlanta, Georgia area, a big shout out to also my brother on here, my big brother, my spiritual big brother, Bishop Joseph Howard, as well as Lady Howard on here. Definitely appreciate him. Thank him. High Ground Ministries of the World. If y'all aren't doing anything, you're in Atlanta, Georgia area, you looking for a place to fellowship and worship, definitely come out to Boom Church. We will be Saturday. We'll have our first service at the new location of worship, new place of worship That is True Word International Ministries. Bishop Howard, my spiritual big brother, we will be having service there on Saturday and whatnot. So I appreciate them for opening their doors to us in our ministry and supporting our ministry. It's truly a blessing. All right. So definitely you're going to be seeing a lot of great. He's also a great teacher as well, Bishop Howard. And so, man, I love all of y'all with the love of Christ. Big shout out to also the Apostle Keith K. Curry. All right. And everybody that's out there, man, I love y'all with the love of Christ. Be ready, because in June of this year, Zadok will also be at the James 1-on-1 conference that we will be putting together in Jacksonville, Florida. I will have that. And also, we got some big news, Passover and stuff like that coming up. So I keep y'all posted. I love all of y'all with the love of Christ. Like, share the video. But don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube page, Boom Church. Boom Church YouTube page. All right, I'm about to get off here. Y'all can go over there and holler at Zadok or whatever like that. And big shout out. We got some music coming as well. Robert Faith music, as well as Jay Lutch, man, coming out, man, of Rebirth. Big shout out to also to Morris and Josh, Rebirth of the Nation. All right, shalom to you all.